I am here raw and uncut, nail polish missing, hair is the hair that y'all last saw me do. So come on in. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Jamila Evans. I am a licensed cosmetologist and a curl educator in particular. And on this channel, we really just take the guesswork out of natural hair and make it simple. We believe in 2-hour or less wash days. We believe in a 5-step process, and we want you all to just have great hair. So let's come on in and talk about shedding today. It is something that I get asked a lot about. It's probably one of my number 1 to 2 complaints when it comes to shedding and breakage. So we're going to be discussing the difference between shedding and breakage, how much shedding you can expect to get on average, how much shedding should be happening after protective styles, which is really when my clients freak out the most, and then things that we can do to kind of limit breakage. Shedding kind of can change throughout the month, throughout your years, depending on what we are dealing with, especially because, child, as women, we deal with a whole lot. So if any of this sounds interesting, feel free to, stay tuned to continue to watch. But let's get into it. So they come in, they're like freaking out. Jamila, this is how much hair that shed out my head. I have pictures of it. I actually brought the hair in today in a bag. Like, I get all kind of scenarios where people literally are like freaking out in the moment because what they feel like is excessive amounts of shedding is happening. So I have a few questions when that happens, right? When was the last time you washed your hair? Number 1, okay? Because the length that it has gone from your first wash to when you're washing your hair or when you're combing through your hair, that can dictate how many strands we can accumulate in between washes. Generally, as natural women, we are only combing our hair on wash day. So if you're going a week between wash days, then you have so many hairs that are going to shed out. But if you're going 2 weeks, you can expect to have double that amount of hair on average. So once I ask them how long it's been since they last washed their hair, I can kind of gauge what we can be expecting. And then also I want to know if they're coming out of protective style or if anything has changed in their lifestyle or their regimen. So from there, I want them, number 1, to calm down, okay? Because we can figure it out, all right? We're gonna pinpoint, we're gonna troubleshoot, we're gonna figure out why the shedding is occurring. If it is truly excessive, because sometimes it's not excessive, sometimes it is what's to be expected. So, hey y'all, as y'all are coming in, feel free to drop where you're at and where you're watching it from. If you're natural, I would love to know how long you've been natural. And if you're struggling with anything, feel free to drop that in the comment section as well, in the chat. We can talk about all of that today. If you're new here, as y'all are coming in, I'm Jamila Evans. I am the salon owner at a curly hair salon called Texture. And what we do here is pretty much make natural hair simple. So today we're talking about excessive shedding because a lot of my clients freak out about the amount of hair that is shedding, and they also don't know the difference between breakage and shedding. So to just put it out there, on average, you can shed anywhere between 100 hairs a day to 150 hairs a day. Hey y'all, as y'all are coming in, okay? So if we're only washing our hair once a week and we're only combing our hair when we wash, the thing about curly hair is that all that hair that would normally shed out if our hair was straight, that we would not see shedding out, that is stuck and locked into our fro, okay? So we're only unleashing and letting go of this shed hair when we are combing it, okay? So all of those hairs, 100 hairs a day to 150 hairs a day, are accumulating throughout the week, okay? So let's use a round figure of 100. We can expect, if we've only washed our hair once a week, we've only combed our hair once a week, to get about 700 strands of hair, okay? Now, I don't know if that sounds like a lot to you all, but it can accumulate to be a little ball of hair. For some people, that ball maybe look bigger. For some people, that ball could be smaller. If you have small, really a small compact fro, you might find that your ball of hair is really tiny. But for me, I get really, I can probably make a little piece of ball of hair that is filling up this part of my hand, okay? And that's because I have a whole lot of hair and I have coarse hair. So The next question I asked after I asked someone, how long has it been since you last washed your hair? My next question, so that they can stop freaking out, is the hair on your hair that's still attached to your head, is that hair appearing thinner to you? And most of them are just saying, no, my hair feels about the same thickness. My hair feels like, I don't feel like I'm missing hair. Okay, well, let's calm down, okay? And then I want people to now start, if they feel like it's excessive shedding, I want them to start paying attention to their shedding each wash day, and also noting how long it's been. So if you're washing your hair 1 week and you're getting a ball, I want you to go that same amount of time and wash your hair again and get another ball of hair. If those hairs are similar, then we can kind of say that is about our average. Hey, how y'all doing? That's about our average, okay? Now, mind you that this could also be affected by hormones, affected by medication. So, you know, sometimes that is not a true depiction. But again, if the hair on your head is still appearing thick, then generally I tell people not to worry about that, okay? And so now let's talk about the difference between shedding and breakage, okay? Breakage leaves evidence in the hair, okay? If a piece of hair is breaking, there is a piece of hair that it broke off from, okay? Or a patch of hair that has broken off, right? And so when I say there's evidence, that breakage could be happening around the hairline. That is a common spot. That breakage could be happening in the crown. That is a common spot. Or that breakage could be happening, you know, in the nape. It all depends. But if you're finding patches of hair that are shorter than all the rest of the hair around it, then that usually is a sign of breakage. And then you also can examine the hair that actually has either shed or broken off. If you're getting long strands of hair that have a white ball attached to one end, that is the hair coming straight from the follicle, and it is completely normal for that hair to shed. There are 3 phases that the hair grows through. I won't give you all the technical terms because I find sometimes when we use our professional jargon, it just gets a little too crazy. So we have the growing phase. There's a phase where the hair just pauses and it lies dormant, and then it sheds off. So at any given point in time, there are 100 to 150 hairs shedding on average, okay? There are hairs that are growing. They can grow anywhere between so many years, 5, 10 years. You know, your terminal length is yours. It's all predetermined by genetics. So for those people who have longer hair, we know that their hair grows for a longer period of time before it sheds off. You know what I mean? And then for those people who have shorter hair, now they also could not be caring for their hair well. That could be a reason why their hair is short. But essentially, we are shedding hair every day, all the time, and the hair is going through these different phases. I hope this is making sense for you all. If it's helping anyone, feel free to give us a like, because that helps help other people find this kind of information, especially because here on YouTube there is a lot of misinformation. So as a licensed cosmetologist, the reason that I am coming on YouTube, the reason that I am sharing what I know to be true, what I call the natural hair gospel, is because a lot of the curl influencers or the people in the natural hair community are not licensed. They're not speaking from experience of doing hundreds of heads, over 1,000 of heads of curls. They're talking about their own hair, which is completely fine. But we want the real information to get out there. So feel free to like and help this pump out into the algorithm. And then if any of this also is helpful, feel free to subscribe as well. So we've talked about, you know, how long we're going in between our shampoos to dictate whether or not we have extra hair or not. The longer you go in between shampoos, we can expect to have more hair shedding out. We're also going to be looking at the hair that's on our head to make sure that that doesn't appear to be thinner. And then we are going to be also being mindful that as a curly haired woman, we generally are only combing our hair on wash day. So all of that hair that would normally shed out is actually accumulating and stuck in our fro. It's locked in. And so we only unleash it whenever we do wash day, okay? So those are the starting factors. And then so now I want to talk about protective styles and how long we should be wearing these protective styles, and then also being very mindful of detangling, because that is another time where I get people complaining about the amount of hair they're shedding, the excessive shedding. Okay, so I recommend people to wear braids or protective styles no longer than about 4 to 8 weeks. Okay, so somewhere in that time frame, for some people, 4 weeks is very, very short. They done spent too much money. They not, I'm gonna get my money's worth. Now, so when we say getting our money's worth, then we have people who are going to the extreme and they're wearing that hairstyle for about 3 months. That is not okay, especially because a lot of times when we are in these protective styles, we are neglecting our hair care, our scalp care. We're not shampooing, we're not moisturizing, we're not hydrating. You know what I mean? So 4 weeks to 8 weeks, okay? 2 months, give it 2 months and take it out, okay? And in this time frame, we also can care for our scalp and care for our strands of hair within that protective style. Really quick, one disclaimer though, or one cautionary, tip is that faux locks or soft locks, those are going to be a style where it's harder to get to the hair because the hair is wrapped up and sometimes bent and folded inside of those. So it is going to be harder to care for the actual strands of hair inside of that. So be mindful, okay? If healthy hair is your goal, if moisturized, manageable, long hair is your goal, I would not recommend soft locks or faux locks to you all. Do with that as you will, okay? And so if we're going 4 weeks to 8 weeks, okay, remember we're shedding and we're using a ballpark figure of 100 hairs a day, anywhere between 100 to 150, we have 700 strands, we have 1,400 strands, that's for 2 weeks. By the end of the month, we have 2,800 strands, okay? We'll have almost 3,000 strands that we're shedding in a month. That's a lot of hair, right? Do that times 2 months, we have 6,000 strands of hair. I hope I'm doing that math right. 700, 1,400, yes. Almost 6,000 strands of hair, all coming out at once. That is not excessive shedding. That's your average shedding over the course of days, over the course of a month, 2 months, that is all coming out at once. Okay, so please do not freak out. Now, how you detangle your hair is important because it can go from detangling out shed hair to actually breaking off the hair. So we want to be very delicate with our hair when we're detangling it, especially around the hairline, because we get what I call the dirt knots. That is where the hair has probably had a lot of product. The hair probably has been pulled too much. There's been too much tension on that hair. So we have gotten some breakage and we have gotten some suffocation, if you will, because of the products. And so you want to really take your time, wet the hair, probably use some type of leave-in, something that's going to give it a little bit of slip, and comb through your hair as you are taking the hair out. I would not recommend taking all of your braids out at once because you are less likely to do a thorough job detangling. I hope this is helpful. I don't want to be coming on here lecturing too badly, but I want y'all to get the information. So this is going to be like a little mini class. Anytime you see a boring title, just know that I'm just giving you straight knowledge so that we can make sure that the proper information is out here, okay? If y'all just coming in, say hi, like the video, make sure that this information is getting out to other people if you find it helpful, okay? So we've talked about how many strands of hair that you should be losing on average. We talked about the fact that if the hair on your head is not thinning out, if your hair is not getting thinner, then we shouldn't be too worried about that shedding. We talked about the difference between breakage and shedding, okay? If there are patches of hair that are broken off, that are shorter than the rest of your hair, you are experiencing breakage. You're not experiencing shedding. Shedding are going to be long strands of hair that are supposed to shed out. We talked about the fact that as natural hair women, all of this shed hair is getting stuck in our afros, and they're only being unleashed when we wash our hair on wash day, because that's when we comb our hair, right? And so do not freak out. I'm going to say this one more time. Do not freak out about what you think is excessive shedding. Monitor your shedding from one wash day to the next wash day, and if the balls of hair that is shedding out is about the same, I would not stress out too badly. If you know that the balls of hair are starting to pick up or you're starting to get clumps of hair coming out, then we want to start to figure out what is going on. Are we experiencing something autoimmune? Are we experiencing something with medication? Are we stressed out? Okay? Are we drinking water? Are we taking our vitamins? You know what I mean? So that is just a little bit of tidbit. Let me make sure I got me a little, you know, notes here to make sure that I did everything. Yeah, I pretty much covered everything. If y'all have questions as I'm on here about shedding or about breakage, if you're experiencing any of that, you may also want to be mindful of your moisture and your protein levels. A lot of times we are complaining about having dry hair as natural women, so we're so focused on moisture, but we are not also balancing that moisture out with protein. And having that balance will actually help the hair stay hydrated better, because the strand of the hair is going to be fortified. Okay. All right, y'all, that's all I got. Y'all don't seem to have any questions this evening about your hair. If you're new here, we do this about once a week, sometimes twice a week. It all depends on how I'm feeling, okay? This week I feel pretty good, so we might come back on again. We have talked previously about wash day basics. We have done a wash and go on here in real time. It's a 3-part series where I came on showing you my hair kind of how it is now, showing you how I'm actually doing my wash and go, and then lastly showing you the final results as they were dry. I share with you all the products that I use. We actually have a live where I showed you everything that I have in my cabinet, why I use them, what's going on with each one of those, in product recommendations. If you are not deep cleansing your hair about once a month, that could be your whole issue right there, okay? Because you have a buildup on your hair and your hair is not drinking water. So that is my #1 recommendation to almost anyone who has not deep cleansed their hair in over a month or two. Go back, watch the videos, okay? There's tons of hair videos, but there also is tons of videos on mindset and mental health, because I adult with ADHD. I talk about my mental health journey online simply because people do not know what it looks like in real time. I am what I would consider a successful individual, and as a successful person, I also deal with ADHD. So in an attempt to remove the stigma behind that, I like to just be completely transparent, y'all. I am a twin mom. I am a geriatric millennial, as they call us. And so I'm just on here living vicariously through you all, and letting you all know that everything is obtainable. You have to just be patient with yourself. You have to ask for help when you need it. A lot of people are afraid to ask for help. A lot of people are afraid to put out their skeletons out of their closet, and the only way that you're going to be able to clean out that closet is if you expose yourself. You don't have to do it online like I do. I just do it online because #1, I don't care, and #2, I know that it may help somebody. So if any of that sounded good to you, whether it be natural hair care or mental health, you will find hair hacks and curl care over here on this page, on the Jamila Evans page. I am so thankful for you all who have subscribed. We recently reached 1,000 subscribers. Right now, I think we are at 1,175, if I'm not mistaken. And so I am so grateful for each and every one of you all. I would love to continue to come on here and share more of what I have learned over the past 10 years being licensed, dealing with pretty much the same issues from one curly client to the next curly client: dry hair, dry scalp, wanting to retain length, not being able to find someone that they trust. And so I also help you advocate for yourself as a client when you go to other stylists, because I can't service everyone. So I also speak on how you can find a trustworthy hairstylist, the things to look for, how to look them up online. So if y'all want to do a whole live about that, I could do that. And then I also share a little bit about professional development for stylists who are interested in getting into natural hair care. A lot of times it is really thought that there's no money in natural hair care, but there is a whole sector of women, Black women in particular, curly haired women, who want to know about their hair. So I have an education focused salon, and I think that if more stylists leaned into that would kind of turn the test of, or turn the whole wave of it's like a natural hair crisis, like an industry crisis right now, between the Instagram scammers, the unprofessionalism. So all of those things are things that I'm super passionate about. I will be going, and if you are a hairstylist, if you go to Bronner Brothers, please meet me there. I will be at the Bronner Brothers hair show in August down in New Orleans. Me and Courtney Ridley are going to be talking about natural hair care and how you can use that to elevate your salon experience, charge more, be sought after as an expert in that space. So I'm really excited. I've never been to Bronner Brothers before. I know it's going to be a sea of beauty professionals, so I'm just ready to be cute, be seen, mix and mingle, and speak on the largest stage that I've ever spoke on. I mean, besides like YouTube, of course. So yeah, if you are in the area, August 17th through the 19th, please come to the Bronner Brothers show and join our session. Me and Courtney is actually out of Houston, Texas, if I'm not mistaken. And so we're gonna have a lot of fun. We've been preparing for weeks. We have a whole presentation and all of that. So we're really, really excited about that. I am super, super passionate about just caring for people, caring for Black women, because I do feel like if we don't care for ourselves, there's no other group of people who will. So that's all I got for you all today. I hope this was helpful for y'all. Go ahead and subscribe. And oftentimes I also get that people tell me they're not getting notified or they don't know when I'm live. So go ahead and hit the notification bell as well. I'll see y'all soon, and until next time.